Yo, Coach. In today's video, I got the how to make Gojo's domain expansion. This is an updated version of the tutorial I made, I think back in September. I just know it's been a little minute. It's been probably like 6 months, I think, and stuff. So yeah, with some JJK content and stuff. So yeah, I got an updated version. As you guys can see, I started up the domain expansion tutorial series and stuff. So yeah, this is an updated one. If you watched my most recent domain expansion tutorials, you'll notice the similarities with these. And yeah, let's go ahead and get straight into it. Okay, so well, what's up to everybody watching the premiere, by the way? But anyway, let's get straight into it. Okay, so first things first, inside the server storage, we have our domain model. So I'll leave a link to where you guys can get this domain. Like I'll leave a link in the description so you guys can get this domain, the exact domain model. I did make some changes. Okay, so first things first, right? You're gonna once you open up the model and everything, you're gonna find the part that's named domain, right? You want to just take that part out of the model, right? And then you want to create a group by pressing Control plus G, right? And then once you've done that, you want to rename it to domain model, right? And then obviously put your domain inside of it, right? Now, these parts don't come with it and stuff, right? We have to create these parts. You have to create an invisible walls and a floor so that one, players don't fall through, and two, players can't walk out of the domain. Because you can't set the domain to can't collide and stuff, because then players wouldn't be able to be inside of it. So you have to create invisible walls and stuff. So they're literally just regular parts. As you can see, they're just regular parts. Just scale them and stuff. All you gotta do is just scale them so that they fit around in a square and stuff like that. I will go watch my how to make a basic domain expansion to see like in depth like how I created it from scratch. Like just I mean I wouldn't really see why you would need to. It's literally just creating 4 parts and just placing them around in a square around the domain, right? So that's what we have. So and then you're gonna name each one wall 1, wall 2, wall 2, wall 3, wall 4, right? And then you're gonna do the same with the floor. Put the floor at the bottom, right? And then yeah, I'm gonna show you guys the properties of everything, like the positioning, the sizing, and stuff, because that is important. That is important. So I would recommend you guys just do everything the same as it is. I will show you guys the properties for everything and stuff. Yeah, the positioning and all that and stuff, so you guys can take note of that and then copy. I would suggest you copy and do it the exact same way I've done it, unless you know what you're doing, but most of y'all don't. So yeah. Anyway, so yeah, the only real properties you got to set for the walls and floor is just make sure that can collide is on, make sure they're anchored, and then make sure that they are fully transparent. So set transparency equal to 1. As for the domain, you also want to make sure the domain is transparency set to 1 by default, because you don't want players to be able to see it. You want it to like we're gonna tween it so that like it fades in, right? And then you also want to make sure can collide is disabled for the domain, right? All of these should have can collide enabled, but for the domain for the actual domain part, you want to make sure can collide is disabled. Now, as for the things I changed in here, what else did I really change? I think the only thing I really changed was the line. Yeah. Like the line, like you guys see, like where the lines come from. I think I just literally moved it. Like I literally just moved it down. And you guys can adjust with the parts and stuff as needed. But yeah. Oh, I also anchored this part. Right. So here are the properties and stuff. I did anchor it. I know it was anchored before, but yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, I think that's really all I changed, if I'm being honest. So yeah, so that's how I set it up and everything. So once you set it up however way you want it, right, you can then make sure it's purchased to the domain model. Throw that domain model inside of server storage. We can insert a remote event into replicated storage. We can rename said remote event combat event. Boom, right? Then we can open sound service, and then we need our sounds and stuff. So for these two sounds, or wait, oh no, sorry. For this sound, go to the toolbox, search up like domain expansion, Gojo, whatever, and you'll find it. And it's just this, right? Gojo's domain is Gojo's, voice and whatnot. Then this, I, I forgot how I found this. Like it's just like some type of like laser beam long sound type thing and stuff. But you guys can find all this. Now this, you just search Splat. Right, you just search Splat and stuff like that. So to go to the toolbox, go to audio, and then just find your, whatever sound effects sound cool to you, right? And then throw all them inside a sound service, right? Then once you're done with that, let's go ahead and open up Starter Player. Let's get into the scripting. We're going to insert a local script into Starter Player scripts. We're going to rename the script to Combat Script, and then in parentheses, you're going to put local. We're going to delete print hello world. We're going to create 3 variables. First things first, let's get the user input service. We're going to say local UIS is equal to game get service, user input service. Then I'm going to get the tween service. I'm going to say local TS is equal to game get service, tween service. And lastly, I'm going to get the combat remote event. So I'm going to say local combat event is equal to game.replicated storage, wait for child, combat event, right? Then I'm going to say UIS.input began, connect function, right? In parentheses, put input, comma, processed. Enter, you're going to say if input.userinput is equal to enum.userinput and not process, which means the player is not typing in chat. Enter, you're then going to say if input.keycode is equal to enum.keycode, whatever keybind you want, I'm going to go with E. Enter, then you're going to say combat event fire server in quotation marks. The name of the event will be Gojo domain expansion, and we don't need to send over any arguments. So we can then move to the second to last function on the local script. We're going to say combat event on client events connect function, right? In parentheses, you're going to put event type. Enter, you're going to say if event type is equal to in quotation marks Gojo domain expansion. Enter, right? We're going to create a blur like effect. We're going to say local blur to instance.new quotation mark for blur effect, parent this to the lighting, so game.lighting, right? Then I'm going to say blur.enabled by default is false, is set to false, right? I'm going to wait, or sorry, not yet, sorry. We're going to make that later, but anyway, let's set up the blur tween. So we're going to say local blur tween is equal to ts create blur, comma, tween info dot new. You're going to put 2 seconds, comma, enum.easingstyle.linear, comma, enum.easingdirection.out, comma, or sorry, not comma, go in between the parentheses, then put a comma, and then for the property table, we're going to create a special brackets. So we're going to, make special brackets. That's how we create a table. Then we're going to set a whole bunch of properties. First things first, we're going to say enabled is equal to true, right? Then I'm going to set the tint color. So I'm going to say tint color, if I know how to spell color, is equal to color3.new, right? And then I'm going to say 147, comma, 147, 147, boom, right? Then moving on to the next property, I'm going to set the brightness. I'm going to say brightness is equal to 0.4, comma, contrast is equal to 5. And lastly, I'm going to say saturation is equal to 2. Now you guys can play around with these numbers or not even include this if you want to. It's completely up to you guys if you want to do this. But I included because I don't know. I decided to add more detail to it and it looks more cool, like especially with the colors and stuff. It just matched the whole theme of it. Then I'm gonna say blur tween play. Now I'm gonna throw the task.wait. So I'm gonna say task.wait 8 seconds, right? Then we can copy and paste to save ourselves some time. Control C, Control V, and then just add a 2 at the end of both of them, right? Same thing, 2 seconds, linear. You want this to be out. You want this to be in. And then, sorry, I meant to put enabled, not enable. Enabled, right? So you're gonna set enabled to false. You're gonna, you don't need to worry about the color. Or, actually, and I just realized I spelled brightness wrong. So try not to, make the same mistake I made. That's that's the whole point. Learn from my failure. Anyway, do I want to set to white? I mean, I could do that. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, so you could set the color to white and stuff. I didn't have like this before, but it doesn't really matter. I'll just keep it like that. Anyway, we're gonna set everything else to 0, right? So we're gonna delete the 0.4, change 5 to 0, and change 2 to 0, right? Then we're gonna play the blur tween. Once the blur tween is concluded, so blur tween 2 dot completed, connect function, right? Close parentheses, enter. You're then of course going to destroy said blur, right? That simple. Now we can move on to the server script. So we're going to insert a server script into server script service. We are going to name said server script combat script, and in parentheses we're going to put server, right? We're going to delete print hello world. First things first, let's get the tween service, the sound service, and then the combat event. Let's save ourselves some time so we can really copy and paste the tween service and the sound service. So actually, let's copy and paste everything. So let's do Control C, Control V, right? And then we're just simply going to change this. We're going to just rename. We're going to change UIS to SS to get the sound service, right? So boom, we've already got the tween service and the combat mode event. We just saved ourselves some time. Now let's get into the function. We're going to say combat event on server events connect function, right? In parentheses, put PLR. So you're going to put PLR short for player, comma event type, right? Then you're going to say enter. And then we're going to create a variable for the player's character. We're going to say local character is equal to player dot character. Then set the if statement. You're gonna say if event type is equal to in quotation marks Gojo domain expansion, then enter. You're gonna say ss dot domain expansion, right? That time position. Now this depends on whatever sound you're using. If you're using the same one as me, then yeah, but like this depends on whatever sound you're using, right? Then I'm gonna say ss dot domain expansion play, right? Then I'm gonna add a test await 0.8 seconds, right? I'm gonna clone over the domain model, so I'm gonna say local domain model. Then I'm gonna set some properties. So I'm gonna say is equal to game the server storage domain model clone. Now I'm gonna set a lot of properties. Now you may have to adjust these. That's why I showed you guys like the size, the positioning, and all that stuff, the rotation, all that of all of my parts. Because if you're using a different model or you didn't set your model up the same way I did and stuff, you may have to adjust these numbers and stuff to make sure they work with you, with yours, right? So I'm gonna say domain model pivot to character dot humanoid root part dot c frame times c frame dot new -1 comma 63 comma 63.5 comma -1, then go in between the parentheses, and then you're gonna say times c frame dot angles, right? 0 comma 0 comma math dot rash of radians 90, right? Then we're gonna say domain model dot floor. We're gonna set the floor c frame, so it's equal to domain model dot domain dot c frame, right? Times c frame dot new. Then parentheses you're going to put -1 comma 20 comma -1, right? And then I'm gonna say domain model dot domain dot line dot c frame, right, is times equal to c frame dot new -40 comma -1 -1. Then I'm gonna say times c frame dot angles 0 comma 0 comma I did not mean to include that. But anyway, yeah. So we're gonna say 0 comma 0 math, same thing actually, math dot rad 90, right? And then lastly, I'm going to say domain model dot parent is equal to workspace, right? Then I'm going to set up the domain too. So I'm going to save ourselves some time. We could, or actually no, that actually might actually take longer. Never mind. No, that might actually take longer. Okay, so I'm going to set the domain tween. I'm going to say local domain tween is equal to ts create. Of course, we're going to say domain model dot domain, right? And then we're going to say comma tween info dot new. You're going to put 2.5 seconds for the duration. Then enum.easing style, I went with linear. Then enum.easing direction, of course, would be out. Put a comma in between the parentheses, comma, right? Then special brackets. Then you're gonna say transparency is equal to 0. Then of course we're going to place a domain tween, right? I don't know why that keeps happening, but anyway. And then I'm gonna say ss.domain expansion to play, right? And then moving on, I'm going to set up a table for all the players that are trapped inside of it. So you can only test this on actual players, not NPCs. So yeah, it won't really work to test on play. Like you can test like seeing how the domain is, but like in terms of like damage and stuff. Yeah. So we're gonna say local domain tween is. Oh wait, sorry. Wait, we did that. I'm tripping. We're gonna say local. Let's set up the table. Local trapped players is equal to special brackets, right? And then you're going to say domain model dot floor dot touch connect. If this works, connects function close print or sorry in parentheses you're gonna put a hit, right? Then enter. Then you're gonna say if hit dot parent find first child humanoid, so it's either an NPC or a player. Or actually, now that I think about it, I guess since it would only really work for NPC. I guess we wouldn't need that because it would only really be interesting. Okay, let me do like that actually. So I'm gonna say if game dot players find first child hit dot parent dot name and not actually yeah and hit dot parent dot name is okay. I did not mean to do that. Hit dot parent name is nil equal to player dot name, right? And not table dot find trapped players comma hit dot parent dot name, right? And then once we're done with that, we're going to insert the names to the table. Once they've passed all the checks, so table dot insert trapped players, comma hit dot parent dot name, right? And then we're gonna skip two ends, and then we're going to add a task that wait 2 seconds, task that wait 2, right? Then I'm going to fire their mode event. I'm gonna say comment event fire client game dot okay. Oh, okay, I know this is so game dot players find first child in quotation marks. Type your username exactly as is, right? Type username exactly as is, right? So for me, it's 519. Now, the reason why I'm including this, you actually don't want to keep this line. The only reason I'm keeping this is so that I can actually see the effects. This is to make sure you can test to make sure like, okay, this part of the code is working. Like the blur and everything and stuff, like it works. So that's the only reason we're keeping this line. In the final version of your code, you would want to delete this line. You would not want to have this, right? I mean, it wouldn't like mess anything up, but it's just you wouldn't want to really have that, right? Then I'm gonna set up a for I loop. I'm going to say for I v in pairs. We're almost done, guys. Don't worry. I'm going to say game.players, get children, enter. We're going to say if workspace, find first child, v.name, and table.find trapped players, comma, v.name, then enter. Then, of course, we're going to remove the name from the table, so table.remove, trapped players, comma, table.find, trapped players, comma, v.name. So once we remove the name from the table, we're then going to create a variable for the enemy character. We're going to say local enemy character is equal to v dot character, right? Then I'm gonna say enemy character dot humanoid dot health. You can do as much damage as you want. I'm gonna say less than equal to 10 and stuff to take away 10 health. Then I'm gonna say ss dot splat. This is what I got the splat sound effect for. I don't know, it just makes sense. It's like the whole paint and everything, and like Gojo's domain expansion. But anyway, then we're gonna say comment event fire client singular, not plural. V, we're gonna put the players, right? And comma in quotation marks, you're going to put Gojo domain expansion because that's the name of the events, and then we are almost done. In between the ends, you're going to wait about 8 seconds, right? You're gonna wait 8 seconds. Then we're gonna use another for our loop. This time, we're gonna get the domain model, all the children of the domain model. So we're gonna say for I v in pairs. Wait, actually, now that I think about it, I mean, oh yeah, actually, yeah, no. That actually makes sense. That actually makes sense. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna say domain model get children enter. Let's save ourselves some time. You guys already know. Let's copy and paste this. Control C, Control V. Throw a 2 at the end. Boom. Right. So we're gonna replace the instance with V. Right. Replace this with V. Change the time from 2.5 to 1.5. Linear. You want this to be in. This time we're setting transparency back to 1 and then comma, and then you want to set can collide false, right? And then we're going to play that. Then after that, we're going to wait 1.5 seconds, 1.5 seconds, whatever the duration is for the second tween. Then we're going to destroy the domain model. So domain model destroy, and then we're going to stop the other sound since it's just a generally very long, like the song lasts for a minute, or not song, the sound. Go ahead and test to make sure everything works. As always, if you guys want access to either one of my scripts and models, you guys can become either a channel member or a Discord subscriber. Link to either one of those options can be found in the description if you're interested. And yeah. Alright, let me go ahead and see. Let's see what this done. Okay, so if I press E, sound playing, okay, spawning in everything. We see the lines, everything is looking and sounding great. Okay, so everything went great. The only issue is that for some odd reason, fire client game.players find first child spot anything. See, it should have fired the remote event. That's the only thing. It should have fired. Like, that's why I said we needed this line, because like this is only gonna work for like other players. It's weird though. Game.players find first child 219. Why didn't it find me? I don't understand. Let's see. It might not actually really be an issue per se with let's see, because it's important to be able to really test that. So Yeah, because it's not here. Unless I spelled it wrong. Oh, I know I was forgetting. I knew I was forgetting something. My fault. Okay, I see what I forgot. So I fired the remote event, but I forgot to send over the name of the event. Okay, so Gojo domain expansion. Just add that to line 34 in the server script. I forgot to add that part. Okay, that's so yeah. This is to make sure that we can test it, right, guys? So like I said, delete the line once you've tested and confirmed that everything looks good. So the blur. Okay, and it turns out I spelled something wrong. A party name saturation. Huh. I feel like I'm spelling it wrong, but like it looks like it's spelled right at the same time. That is swear that's how you spell saturation. Okay, hold on. Y'all give me a sec. Let me look at this real quick. How do you spell saturation? Saturation. That's literally how you spell saturation. What? I'm confused now. That's literally how you spell saturation. Because if I did blur dot satur. Oh, guys, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh my god, I just peeped. Yo, I actually just peeped. I took blur too serious. That's why I don't usually name this blur, and I usually name it color correction. That's why. Okay, so it's not supposed to be an actual blur effect. I know how that sounds like, right? So I did this wrong. Okay, so you're supposed to, yeah, replace the blur part for color correction effect. Okay, so a blur this is a blur. You like what should be, that is a blur, right? But that's not what we wanted. We wanted a color correction effect. Like I wanted to change the color of this. I wanted to change the color like of the screen and stuff, like that. Yeah, okay, that's what I want to do. Like I want to change the color of the screen for the player. Okay, now let's test and see. There we go. Okay, you guys see it. Look, to me, this looks really cool. I don't know. I just really like the colors and everything. I like how everything's just shining, and I feel like the colors, it just really matches. And then you see how like it fades out of, I don't know. I find that very cool to me. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, definitely leave a like, subscribe and stuff. I'll continue with more JJK content if you guys are interested and stuff. As always, if you guys enjoyed the video, definitely leave a like, subscribe. If you need help with anything, join my Discord server. Link you can find in the description. Thank you guys for watching the video, and I'll see you guys in the next video.